Welcome to HorizonRC.com. My name is Gary Katzer, site content editor for surface-related products here on HorizonRC.com. Today we're going to take a closer look at the newest 1/10 scale stadium electric off-road truck from Team Losi Racing, the XXX-T CR. There's a number of innovative features on this truck that stem from both development on the XXX MF2 and the XXX CR buggy. First and foremost, you may notice that this is actually a longer wheelbase vehicle than its predecessor, the MF2. The extra wheelbase adds both stability and actually steering to this truck all at the same time. A number of other innovative features include the inclusion of the 82 style aluminum rear hub carriers. Now these are still a little bit different than the 82s, as there are more camber adjustment positions in the outboard hub carrier than even what the 82 has. But you can actually use the same wheels and tires if you do currently have an Adam Drake 2 Nitro vehicle. A side benefit of using the quick change hubs on the rear, you can now run the exact same wheels and tires front and rear. There's just a different spacer that you would utilize on the front of the truck to go ahead and space the wheel out properly to make sure it doesn't hit anything. So for tracks that have very high bite, if it's like a clay track, oftentimes if you're going to run something such as a pink taper pin front and rear, it's a perfect reason to use the quick change hubs on the rear, and then you can use the same tires on both ends of the truck. Now the truck does come out of the box as a kit, so basically you're going to have to go ahead and build it up from scratch. I don't necessarily know that I'd recommend it as a first vehicle, but if you've had previous ready-to-run experience, you can go ahead and feel free to take a chance with the XXX-T CR. Now, it's not a huge chance because it's actually a pretty easy build. I built my truck here in about 2.5 to 3 hours. It does come out of the box with wheels and tires, along with a clear body that you can see here that I've painted up in my traditional orange, white, and blue paint scheme that I use. Now, I have gone ahead and installed the white wheels just so it matches my paint scheme better. It does come with a set of yellow wheels for front and rear. Also comes with red compound tires front and rear as well. Now the track that I'll actually be running this vehicle on is one of those high bite clay type tracks where the pink compound tends to be the hot ticket. So I've actually installed pink compound taper pins in the back and pink compound directionals up front. This is the same combination that I used last year on my XXX-T MF2, and it did very well. I was very happy with the performance of the truck with that on there. Being an all-out racing truck as well also means that you're going to have to go ahead and install your own electronics. In this particular truck, I've installed a JR 9000S steering servo, a Novak GTX brush speed controller. I do plan on running in the stock class, so I'll be using a Trinity CO27 stock motor tuned up in there as well. And on top of that, controlling everything will be my Spectrum DX3R radio and SR3100 receiver that's mounted in the truck already. As I mentioned earlier, the chassis on the XXX-T CR is a little bit longer. It's also molded out of a different material. It's actually molded out of Losi's exclusive EA3 material. It's a little bit more flexible. It'll help make the truck feel a little bit more sure-footed when you're on track. It also, if anything, makes setup a little bit less important because the chassis flex, in some instances, can help compensate for, if you're off a spring rate here or there, if you might have a little bit of air in a shock or something like that. I've been running a XXX CR buggy since last winter, and I got to tell you, the EA3 material, it makes a difference. Now, with the new chassis on here, you do also have a new tuning option as well, or an expanded tuning option. The extra length on the chassis allows you to further distribute the weight of the battery pack either forward or backward. Now, the reason that you would want to do this is to change exactly how your truck will respond on and off throttle. If you have the battery pack mounted all the way forward in the chassis, when you get on power, it'll actually have more weight. If you think of the center line of the chassis as a fulcrum on a teeter-totter, if you have more weight placed forward, it'll transfer more weight to the tail of the truck upon acceleration. That'll help plan a little bit better, provide more grip on power. The inverse is also true. If you go ahead and move the battery pack all the way back, when you get on the brakes, it'll transfer more weight to the nose, give it more steering. You can also play around with battery placement as well to affect how your truck will jump, get over rough sections. You can use it in combination with spring rates, preload, ride height. There's a lot of different tuning options that you have here on the XXX-T CR. You have your inboard front camber link adjustment that you can raise and lower to adjust your roll center. You can adjust where you have the ball studs mounted on the outboard front hub carriers. In the back, as we stated earlier, you do have the quick change hubs that allow you to change tires quickly, but you also have 8 different mounting options for the outboard camber link. And again, you can change the outboard roll center by adjusting how tall or how short the ball stud is by adding or removing shims in the back as well. You can adjust the wheelbase by adding or removing shims from in front of or behind the rear hub carrier. And in addition to that, as was found on the XXX-CR, it does feature the VLA, or variable length arm suspension setup on it. So you can actually change how wide or how narrow your truck is to further dial yourself in. Another neat feature that you'll find on the XXX-TCR is back here bolted to the motor transmission case. On the transmission case itself is a little fan mount. With extended run times that we're seeing in a number of different events, motors are being taxed like never before. Keeping brushes cool, motors cool, commutators cool is going to be a big benefit. And you can go ahead and bolt the fan right here. It's a very sturdy platform. As you can see, I can actually hold the truck by the weight, or support the weight of the truck by this fan mount. It's very strong, it's very sturdy. I would not worry about this being broken in a collision, if you tend to land on the tail or something like that. It's a very sturdy design overall. There are a couple tips here that I do have to pass along through my building experience on this. First and foremost, make sure that your suspension operates as freely as possible. You may have to file down a couple of the areas of the suspension arms between the bulkheads and where they mount up to the arms themselves. This is perfectly normal. Just make sure that there's no flashing or anything like that that would inhibit the free range movement of the suspension arms. Another benefit that another recommendation that I would make is RPM sells a great set of shock building tools for Losi shocks. It makes building shocks so easy. It almost makes it to where I enjoy building shocks. They sell for just a couple of dollars. They're absolutely invaluable. Make sure that you properly break in both your diff and the slipper clutch before you really go ahead and run it for the first time. Easiest way to break in the diff is just throw an old motor in, set your throttle so that the tires just turn slowly, and then just set one tire on the ground and let the other tire free spin, flip-flop it so that the other happens, and you're pretty well good to go after a couple minutes of that. Slipper clutch, start it a little bit on the loose side so that everything seats, and then after about the second or third battery pack, slowly tighten it. A lot of manufacturers recommend that you should go ahead and tighten down your ball diff all the way and back it out a turn and a half or something along those lines. I personally disagree with that because you can flat spot your diff balls, you can damage your diff rings. I'd rather have something a little loose and come back and tighten it up later on. So there we have it, the XXX-TCR. It's going to be a great truck. I never really thought that I wanted to get rid of my XXX-T MF2 until I saw one of these run. I can't wait to hit the track with this truck. For more information on all Losi products, make sure that you visit horizonrc.com and enter Losi in the search box. That'll take you directly to our Losi storefront up on horizonrc.com. Thanks for spending some time with us. I'm Gary Katzer. Have a great day, and I'll see you at the racetrack.